Stepped on the scene, dripped in saline. Whole crew shining, call me Mr. Clean. Came in from the back, walked right to the front. Dancing to the music, smoking on the. Got the women smiling, punk grilling me. Looking all dusty, black force energy. I don't even drink, but the team pop bottles. Not here for the beef, but the Glock holds hollows. Think I'm cocky, but I think I'm worse. In this flexing like a Mr. Universe.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is Keith Thurman tells Crawford he didn't beat a real champion. So I'm sure you're all aware by now, especially if you're diehard boxing fans. Sometime last week or this week, a few days ago, Crawford got into an exchange with Danny Garcia on Twitter, basically saying, oh, now these dudes want to fight me after they froze me out for years, and now they all want to try to call me out to get a bag. And Danny Garcia responded saying, like, man, I've been making millions and I've been making money. And he was like, you can keep the sanction and fees for those belts. I'll just buy more real estate. So Danny's saying, like, it's not about money. I just want to fight. I want to make good fights. And TC's like, oh, now they want to fight me. Now everyone's calling my name. And so he's saying that he's not giving Thurman or Danny Garcia a shot because when they had the leverage, they didn't give him a shot. All right, so listen to what Keith Thurman had to say. So sometimes the first thing that gets said gets cut off. So Keith Thurman starts off by saying to Terrence Crawford, you didn't beat a real champion. This video appears courtesy of Fight Hub. Subscribe to Fight Hub for boxing content.
A champion, bro. I don't think that Errol Spence would beat Sean Porter. But there's two things about you talking about me, bud. Number one, the year that they wanted me to fight you was the year that I was supposed to fight Pacquiao, and everybody knew why I didn't fight you. After the Barrios fight, I was all ready to fight you. You're the one who just doesn't want somebody to have a tune-up, shake off the dust, keep everything moving. You a stay busy fighter, kid. What do you got? 40 wins? I got 10 less fights than you, homie. We come from the same Olympic year, bro. You didn't beat up a real champion, kid. Everybody knows you put Thurman in the ring on that same night. Thurman wiped Spence. That arrow gets wiped. You put me in there with you, kid, on that same night in Vegas, bro. It ain't the same fight, man. You didn't beat up a champion, bro.
So that's what Keith Thurman had to say. G, what's your reaction to what he had to say?
Yo, it sounds cute, bro, but I'm not. Yo, that's what he's supposed to say. It's like, man, listen, he just wants to get a fight, so he's gonna say whatever. But it's like, yo, you going down Spence in the process. I think that's kind of corny, like. And he said something like, "Oh, that Spence couldn't even beat Porter, but Spence already beat Porter before." You know what I mean? So
he's saying Spence.
Yeah, I know. He said that Spence that night. It's like, come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, so then when TC beats you, then you're gonna be like, well, he didn't beat a prime Thurman. That wasn't one time. That was a once upon a time thing. I mean, it's like, yo, it's corny, bro. It's like you can't just be like, all right, yo, that was a good performance, but I want next up, right? I could respect that more, but to kind of like downplay that performance, like what you did wasn't impressive. I think that was corny. And two, like, to me, if I was TC, I wouldn't give him an opportunity either. You know what I mean? Like I remember all them times these dudes talked down to TC. So if I was TC, and I understand, it's like, hey, I don't have the leverage at the moment, right? Like, they are technically the A side, this and the third, right? But it's how you do it. You know what I mean? It's like one thing to be like, I think like how Canelo is doing it is respectable. But with these guys, they were like ignoring them, saying, yo, cross the street, saying like these dudes, he doesn't generate money, all that stuff. And it's just like, yo, come on, bro. Like, if you know this guy is a talented guy, like, be like, yeah, yo, man, I would love to fight you one day. Just right now isn't it? You know what I mean? Like Thurman kind of has a good point. Like, hey, the Pacquiao fight was up. I was trying to get Pacquiao. You can't deny that, right? If you had to pick Pacquiao or Crawford, you're gonna pick Pacquiao for obvious reasons. But what about all the other times where you could have fought TC where you chose not to? Then he's talking about, oh, you wouldn't even let me get a tune-up fight to get my ring rust out, this and that. And I'm being honest, man. Y'all could buy that if y'all want to. I just know these guys for obvious reasons. They were like, yo, why take on a tough challenger like TC when I could take on other challengers and just ignore him? You know what I mean? Like, they know he's talented and they know he's a problem. They know they could possibly lose to him, and they could just simply ignore him by saying, oh, he doesn't generate enough money. Oh, he's not a star. Oh, he's across the street. So many excuses, bro. That's just their way of just ducking a dude without being called a duck. So I'm not co-signing what Thurman said at all. You know what I mean? And I don't blame TC for ignoring these guys. If y'all think that's ducking, so what? Because I would do the same thing if I was TC. Anybody disrespect me, I'm not gonna forget it. I'm gonna remember it, and I'm not rocking with you later on unless you could come humble and be like, yo, I'm sorry, I was wrong, this, that, and the third, yada, yada, yada. But they're not doing that. He's still talking like his crap don't stink. So you ain't getting nothing until you come correct. Give me my ball. That's what it is. You know what I mean?
All right, true.
I don't even know what we're talking about. Nah, I don't know, man. Like, he feels how he feel. Thurman feels how he feel. I don't ever recall anybody disrespecting TC. I don't ever recall anybody saying he wasn't a good fighter. I always recall guys dapping him up, showing him love, joking, playing, letting them know. It's the promoters' joints. Everybody knew Bob wasn't rocking with Al, and Al wasn't rocking with Bob when they were doing the little girl things, arguing and fighting and stuff, and not trying to, you know what I mean? And their fighters had to follow
Bob had
suit.
a lawsuit against Al.
Exactly, and the fighters had to follow suit. And all this extra emotional, this person doing, that's not what it is, man. Nobody ducking nobody, man. It's everybody, like you said, is leverage. And when you these guys in PBC was getting to the bag, and all they had to do was fight each other. Why not? They wasn't trying to take short money at that time. TC wasn't doing that. They was trying to do their thing. Like, can't get mad at them. You know what I'm saying? The same way you can't get mad at TC is because it's his turn. You know what I'm saying? But these guys, not like they never wanted to fight him. They were fighting each other. Now they looking at it like, dang, Earl had a bad night, right? You know what I'm saying? We know we could do way better than that. We know that that's not that Earl. And then now everybody's starting to disrespect PBC. So now all the other PBC fighters, Danny, Thurman, all of them is like, yo, dog, we go over here and fight him. That's nothing. Like, everybody's looking at it like Thurman said, that's not the Earl he said he's seen. That's a different Earl. He said anybody would have beat Earl that night. That's just how he feels. It's his opinion. Like, we have opinions. You know what I'm saying? It's just an opinion. You know what I'm saying? We tell the people, yeah, you come respect with your opinions, like the same way with them. It's just his opinion. He felt like that wasn't the right Earl. You know what I'm saying? He feel like anybody that are like people that are already beaten would have beat him that night. He said, and I'll show you. Put me in there with you. You know what I'm saying? And then TC saying what he said, so these guys are gonna respond back like how they feel. All of this is just a little bit of banter or whatever. If TC wants to get some money, he feels like these guys are so easy and they could beat up on him like Earl Spence, then won't you get some easy money then? That's easy money. You know what I'm saying? That's how I see it. But yeah, I just think the ducking thing is getting too outrageous. It's getting crazy. Sometimes shit's just be business. And just common sense. If I have all the welterweights over here, we have all the welterweights over here, and we get all the bread over here, the more money over here. Why would I go over there? Now it makes sense that you're over here now. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it on. You're over here now. There's no confusion. There's no more cross the street. You're over here now, so that's why we can get it on. When you was over there, we couldn't get it on. The parents was beefing. You ever have a cousin, and then your favorite cousin, but once the parents start beefing, you can't go over your cousin's house. Your house because the parents is beefing. Well, Al and Bob were beefing, and the kids couldn't get on and get it rocking. You know what I'm saying? It's all fun now. Now they back on the city street. So if they want to get it on, get it on. If not, it is what it is.
TBE.
Well, can I just say one last thing, or to add some as a question to Trill?
What's up?
Don't you think that, because I think the difference was Thurman and Danny at that time, they were hot, but now their careers is kind of lukewarm. You know what I mean? Right now, so it's kind of like they're not even the same fighters that they were 5 years ago.
Danny's not the same fighter.
Nah, come on, bro.
Danny just came off of
Danny's not even at 147 no more.
Yeah, I know, but TC's talking about moving to 154, and Danny just came off a great performance at 154.
Yeah, what I'm saying is this: both of them gentlemen, right? It's not like people are like, "Yo, these guys are the dudes in the divisions." They're not. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not saying they passed their prime, but they don't have the same looks like they did like 5 years ago. So that's why they're calling out TC, because they understand TC's the meal ticket right now.
So you're saying that Danny Garcia is in the main event fighter?
What I'm saying is with Danny, just off the record, I thought Danny
got a decent pay-per-view, but it's not the same Garcia. It's not the same Swift from 5 years ago today.
Let's talk about strictly
attraction. That's what
okay. So you're saying that Danny Garcia isn't an attraction in the boxing world?
I mean, yeah, we could just look up his last. Was his last fight even a pay-per-view?
It wasn't a pay-per-view, but it was on. But it was on Showtime. So if you want to do it that way, Terrence Crawford's last fight before Earl Spence was on BOK Prime, and the fight before that was on ESPN.
But then he beat Spence, so now he's hot.
Okay, so he beat Spence. Danny Garcia has already been in the ring with Spence. You know, Danny Garcia got a fan base, right? That's what.
I understand. No. Listen,
Danny Garcia is not. When Danny Garcia fights, the celebs come out to see him too.
I'm well aware.
Just so you know.
Trust me, I understand. But what
and
I'm saying,
the rivalry between Danny and TC, they both 1-1. That's why I always wanted to see that fight, because there's a rivalry there between Danny and TC. I thought they was been supposed to get it on. There was always this Al beefing with Bob. He said they knew what it was, but I thought that they was always supposed to get it on. I thought that they were 1-1. Now, I was waiting for them to get it on in the pros, but do I think the reason why they on them now I think the reason why is because now there's no buffer in the middle. He's across the street. He's on the same street as them, and now they can get it on, and it's easier to make now. That's why I think everybody on that side is going to try to. I think before the fights wasn't being made is because of the two aunties were beefing. Aunties ain't beefing no more. You know what I'm saying? We having barbecues and everything now. Everybody's coming out, birthday parties. Everybody's coming out, hanging out now. So I'm thinking that we're going to be able to see a lot of fight. I would love to see Danny and TC. I would love to see TC fight Thurman. I would love to see all the guys that we always said that we wanted to see them fight. Why not go and fight them now? You're saying that they're easy bread, that's easy money, then go ahead and get some easy money. You know what I'm saying? And then you and Saul can get it on. Pardon me?
I be trying to wait till my turn. I be trying to wait till my turn to make some points, but yo, bro, hear what you're saying. So you keep saying they're not good, right? I'll give you the marketing. Hold on, wait. Let me finish. You just said they're not the same. You're acting like they're not attractions. You're acting like they're washed up, bro. Like, let's not. That's exactly what you're saying. But bro, he's not gonna. Tim Tszyu, he's not going to make no money fighting Tim Tszyu. If he fought Tim Tszyu or Keith Thurman, who's going to get him more money? Keith Thurman. Tim Tszyu or Danny Garcia, who's going to get him more money? Danny Garcia. Bro, I got the perfect marketing scheme for this. Call it the PBC Revenge Tour. He gets to go and fight all the fighters who ducked him. Now he's giving them the opportunity. But the difference is, if he would have fought Danny back then, he would have took the short end of the split.
Now,
if he would have fought Keith Thurman back then, he would have took the short end of the split. But now he's big dog. And now he gets to get the big piece of the pie. In their easy work, according to you and everyone else, right? So why not eat, TC? You finally work hard to get in this position so you can just say, I'm not going to give you a shot. That's dumb. That's juvenile behavior. Now you the man. You got the leverage. Get the bread. That's how businessmen think. Oh, because y'all help me out. Nah, go on the PBC Revenge Tour. Yeah, you fighting on PBC. You cool with Al. You know it's business, but you want to get at them dudes. Come on now, that'll sell and it'll make money. And it's been argued for years. But I want to see. I'll still pick Danny Garcia to beat Terrence Crawford today because there's a difference between Earl Spence and Danny Garcia. Danny punched like a mule. Yo, I see you laugh, right? But Danny got robbed twice to me, and no one can tell me otherwise. Danny beat Thurman, and Danny beat Sean Porter. And if Danny would have got those wins, the trajectory of his career would have been completely different. When Danny Garcia fought Earl Spence, he didn't win. I give it to you, Earl beat him. But that doesn't mean that TC can beat him. They're different fighters. So all that just makes me funny because, G, you act like you've been like with TC this whole time.
Now all of a sudden, got the comment section.
Now all of a sudden you act like, hold on. And then I'm gonna throw it to you. But you act like this is how G does the flip flop. Bro, we all picked against Terrence Crawford, bro.
Okay.
Every single one of us picked against TC, bro.
Listen, if y'all would have asked me anytime,
all right, yo, look.
Thurman versus TC, I would have picked TC over Thurman.
Okay,
that's
it's
a
cool.
fact.
But here's the difference. Yo, but here's the difference, yo. Like, I be so accurate. I don't even care about accuracy, bro. I pick the fighters that I like. I'm already on record saying Danny Garcia is one of my favorite fighters. When Rolly fought Tank, I picked Rolly because I like Rolly. I thought Rolly. I was like, yo, I'm rooting for Rolly, so I picked Rolly. Did I think Rolly was going to win? No. I picked Sean Porter to beat TC. Why? Because I was rooting for Sean Porter, not because Sean Porter's 7-1 underdog. Of course, I knew the odds were slim, but I'm rooting for him. So when I say I will go with Danny, I'm rocking with the dude I like better. I'm not a TC fan. I'm not an Earl Spence fan. I done brought the flame to both of them. That's the funny thing, because people think there's only two things. They think either you're a TC lover or you're Earl sexual, as they call it. I don't give a damn about no Earl Spence.
No, I don't either.
No, but I'm not saying that you care about Earl Spence.
I don't care.
But you sitting here talking. You said, all right, let me just run through a few things for.
I'm
for
so
confused
confused right now.
Just hearing the logic that some of these people make. Then if that's the case, Tank can knock out TC. Because I seen where Gamboa did the TC, and I see where Tank did the Gamboa.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, this how you talking.
But no, the point is you gotta have the fight. You can't give people victories.
Just focus on what I'm saying. I'm not saying what the comments are saying. Yeah, I'm just saying straight up, I don't think TC owes Thurman a fight. That's what I'm saying, and I explained why.
Nobody said he owes Thurman a fight.
You know what I mean? But it's like now because I don't agree that TC owes this dude a fight, then now I'm a TC supporter.
No, nobody said that. And that's not what anybody said. If you listen to what I said, I said I think he earned the right to call the shots. I agree with that. But where I question what he's doing is he's cutting off his nose to spite his face, basically, in my opinion. Like, you can go on the PBC Revenge Tour and make a lot of money. You got a lot of TC supporters who would want to see him fight these guys and beat them up, so they can say, I told you so, I told you so. Let's be real. If you want to talk about what's not the same, Deontay Wilder's battered and beaten ass is not the same. Anthony Joshua's unconfident ass is not the same. But we still want to see that fight. Why? Because we want to settle debates, right? Those same debates have been going on about Keith Thurman and Terrence Crawford, about Danny Garcia and Terrence Crawford for years now. So if you make those fights, the people are going to want to see it. The one fight nobody wants to see, again, is Errol Spence versus TC. So that's why I'm not mad at TC for trying to get out of that fight. But these other fights, why wouldn't you make them? Why wouldn't you make them? And let me just bring out some points. And I'm going to throw it to you when I finish that. So I'm going to let you close on this segment. But people act like TC didn't have the opportunity to sign with PBC, and then he chose to re-sign with Top Rank. And when he chose to re-sign with Top Rank, he never got the fights with Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, and Errol Spence. How you going to blame these guys for that? You act like they could just make the fights. And it's noted that Errol Spence went against his advisement team to make the fight happen with TC. He said, no, I want TC. And TC even acknowledged it, that Earl was a big reason. Like, Earl, they didn't want Earl to fight him. Earl was like, no, I'm fighting him. So Earl had to stand 10 toes down to make this fight, and everyone's acting like, oh, Earl was the one who got all the belts and said, now I want TC. How you know Danny wouldn't have done that if he would have been the one who collected all three of the belts? How do you know that Thurman wouldn't have been the one if he collected all the three belts to be like, yo, nah, I'm standing 10 toes down. Get me Crawford. Get me Crawford. Go ahead, Trill.
Damn, and I think, and the honorable thing would have been like, damn, TC, Earl did that for you. You can't do that for him.
Earl could have moved up, and all his fans would have just been like, they would have gave him the victory. The same way G gives him the victory over Danny Garcia already. Like, fights don't happen in the ring. Like, we never seen upsets before. I saw your reaction, bro.
No,
but
that's what I was about to say.
Danny Garcia is a way better fighter than your one-trick pony. And we ain't never seen Danny Garcia knocked out with his butt in the air like your one-trick pony. Man. That's all I'm saying.
Now we hitting Wilder, dog. This has nothing to do with Wilder right now.
I'm just saying, because you act like Wilder's going to slaughter Joshua. You're calling Danny Garcia like you're talking about him like he's not the same fighter, like he's washed up. Yet you act like Wilder's a god. I just don't understand it.
Hold on there. Just for the record, I'm gonna repeat myself. Never said Danny Garcia was washed up. I was literally talking.
Why are you talking to Ned? Don't talk to Ned. Talk to the dudes. Talk to the dudes that are putting the knife in your heart without thinking twice. Don't talk to Ned.
Because Ned hasn't went, so I don't want to be rude to Ned's time. But
I'm gonna give it to Ned.
I was strictly talking about star power, and he's not the same star that he was 5 years ago. He was hot 5 years ago. Right now, he's a little lukewarm. So that's the difference. And same thing with Thurman. Thurman was hot 5 years ago, not so much right now. That's all I was saying. It wasn't saying like, yo, these dudes past their prime, they bump.
TC wasn't hot 5 years ago. He just got hot.
I agree, and that's why
so what you talking about? All right, so again, let me just. It's like
you just want to argue. So
it's not that I want to argue. It's that you don't want to allow me to finish, which is what happens when I'm cooking. Because I don't bother nobody when they do their thing. When I do my thing, you know what I mean? So here's the point. Here's where everything you're saying falls, and you have to listen. When his issue with Earl Spence, Danny Garcia, and Keith Thurman is when they had the leverage, they elected to pick fights that were more lucrative than him. Meanwhile, he's doing the same exact thing once he's in the position. Once he has the leverage, now he's trying to intentionally make a move that's going to make Earl Spence back out of the fight, because he doesn't want to fight Earl Spence, because he wants to go to fight Canelo for more money, which is what Earl Spence and everyone else was doing to him. So he's doing the same exact thing now, and he wants to act like it was because, they didn't want to give me a chance. No, you just don't want to look like a hypocrite. And that's the problem. And you're allowing him to get away with that. And what I'm trying to explain to you is that you can't make it seem like it's the same, because Earl Spence did everything that he told TC he was going to do. Earl Spence said, why won't I fight Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, get all the belts, and then fight you? He did everything he said he was going to do. He was a man of his word. Earl Spence was a man of his word. And now that TC got the belts, because Earl was the one who made the compromise, even when he had the leverage, now TC's like, I'm in a position of authority and it's F all you PBC fighters. Like they actually could fight him. Like I keep trying to tell you, Earl had to put his foot down. He had to change management and everything just to get the fight with Bud Crawford. It's documented. So his vitriol for Danny Garcia, his vitriol for Keith Thurman is misplaced. Hold on. Like I said, I'll give it to you. He even went on the Breakfast Club and said, I once took it personal, but now I understand it was a business. And I quote, this is what TC said. I now know that if my promotional company had all the fighters on their side, they wouldn't have let these guys get a shot either. So if you know that, what's the point in saying all this? If you know that, what's the point in doing all this now? Because you're trying to cover the fact that you really are trying to avoid a fight with Earl Spence so you can jump up and fight Canelo for the bag, and you don't want to look like a duck. But go ahead.
All right, this is where I agree with you. The argument about the Earl Spence situation, I agree. What he's doing is wrong to Earl Spence. You know what I mean? Especially seeing that Spence didn't have to fight him. So I agree 1,000% with that. But he is not obligated to Thurman or Danny Garcia at all. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was saying. It's like, to me, Thurman and Danny Garcia have to bring something that's going to attract Crawford to that fight. And right now, them dudes just ain't popping. So it's like, why would I go to these guys when I could go to bigger fights? You see what I'm saying? It's like, that's my argument is he doesn't even need to entertain those guys. Right now, these guys see him as a meal ticket, you know, and just like they ignored him, you know, and when he was coming up, like right now, he could ignore them because he's on the come up. So it's like, hey guys, yo, it's cool, so whatever. I don't need y'all no more. I'm gonna go holla at Canelo or Charlo even. You know what I mean? He can make like bigger fights and make more money than those guys right now. And that's the only thing I was saying. It's like, it's all about prize fighting. So I'm not mad at his decision. However, because of what Spence had to do for him, that's why I could give you that. It's like, yeah, you know what? Out of anybody, he owes Spence that rematch, you know? So that's why I could be like, yeah, you got that. But
so can I just tell you why I hear the flaw in your argument? You keep saying that these guys avoided him. But when you say that they're avoiding him, you're overlooking the fact that Spence had to take numerous steps to make the fight happen with TC. He had to go against his own promotional company to make the fight happen with TC.
And all of them could have done it.
No, they all could not have done it because Earl Spence, bro, I'm going to tell you the reason why Earl Spence could do it and they couldn't do it. Because at the time, they all had one belt. They all had one belt. When Earl Spence did it, Earl Spence had all three belts. When Earl Spence did it, he was in a position where he could call shots within his career because he had beaten all the fighters on PBC's roster. He was the last man standing. So because he was the last man standing, he had the leverage on PBC. But at that time, if Danny didn't want to obey, hell, they robbed Danny of the belt anyway. Let's be real. All I'm saying is that he wasn't going to let Danny do it. He wasn't going to let anybody else do it. Earl Spence got all the belts, so that's why he could do it. And he's the one who did it. You act like Sean Porter could have had the juice to be like, yo, forget you, Al. I'm fighting. And TC couldn't do it. When TC tried to do it, Bob Arum wouldn't make it happen. So that's where I can't rock with you on your argument. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You keep making it seem like these dudes had the option. It was all within their control. And they said, F you, TC. No, they were all on PBC. He was on Top Rank. And Al Heyman won because TC left Top Rank and end up fighting the biggest fight on PBC. That's what this was all designed for, bro. It's bigger than them. It was bigger than that. You keep acting like it's Danny and Thurman's fault. That's where we part ways.
It's
That's
about
what I keep
the
trying to
aunties.
explain to you.
It's about the aunties.
It's political, bro. It's the organizations. It wasn't Danny, and that's what my issue with Crawford is. Crawford, you know this. You said this on the radio. So why are you acting? I'm not mad at him if he wants to go get the bag. I'm not mad at him if he wants to fight Canelo. I want to see that fight. If he fights Canelo, he's there to be great. That's a hell of a risk. I'm gonna be like, hell yeah, TC. If he wants to fight Jamel Charlo, I'm not mad. That's a hell of a risk. But guess where he wouldn't have been getting them fights? On Top Rank. That's the point I'm trying to make to you. If he was still on Top Rank, he couldn't be talking about fighting Jamel. If he was still on Top Rank, he couldn't be talking about fighting Canelo. The only reason he can be talking about fighting these guys right now is because he is a PBC. He is affiliated with PBC now. And because of his affiliation with PBC, that gives Danny Garcia access to him. That gives Keith Thurman access to him.
I'm bringing it out when the music comes.
So let me ask you this. Were they ducking him now that they all want to fight him? Or is it just that they finally have the opportunity to be able to fight him? That's all I'm trying to say. That's where we part ways on this situation.
It's an interesting conversation because it's like, hey man, listen, I don't know. That's what I'm gonna say. It could be it could be what you're saying, but because we don't know, I'm just gonna say I don't know. But if you know a guy is talented and you don't want to fight him, they have some good excuses lined up. That's all I'm saying, man. But it is what.
All right, so do you think, I'm gonna ask you a question. Do you think that do you think that Terrence Crawford is scared to fight Earl Spence again?
No, of course not.
So do you think he's demanding that the fight be at 147 so that he's hoping that Spence will avoid the fight? Do you think he's doing it because he's scared? No. He's doing it because he wants to get the more lucrative fight.
That bigger fight, the Canelo fight.
Okay, that's what they've been doing. If Earl
you asked me a question and I said I don't know. I'm not gonna make it.
If Earl Spence was scared of TC, and if Earl Spence didn't believe he could beat TC, I don't think he would have risked all the things he risked to get the fight with TC. I don't think he would have won against.
That's why he took the fight, because he believed in his heart of hearts that he could beat TC.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But you're asking me about Thurman and Garcia. I'm like, I don't know, because when them dudes had belts, they didn't fight them. You know what I'm saying? And they had reason that was sound. However, you know what I mean? I don't believe that, just because he's across the street, they didn't have to fight him. Sean Porter was across the street technically and still fought him.
That was ordered by the WBO, bro.
Yeah, you know why? Because of rankings, right? That I know, because of order. Yeah, because fighters fight in the rankings and then they move their way up and they get an opportunity to fight the other fighter. So these guys could fight across the street. It's just once you get to that position, we negotiate on everything. That's all it is.
It's a leverage thing, like I said.
Street stuff is a myth. It's like it's all fake anyways. You know what I'm saying? It's just ways that these dudes who come up to be like, yeah, I'm not fighting that guy. He not, we a different promotional company. Bro, boxing is boxing, bro. Like, come on, man. We done seen Wilder and Fury fight. They could have made that same argument, but nobody cares.
Well, here's what Fury was out of boxing for 2 years. Fury was 400 pounds, lost 150 pounds, and was abusing drugs. And that's when Deontay Wilder agreed to fight him. Was a cherry going bad, bro. That's why he agreed to fight Fury. When Fury was active.
That point's still irrelevant, because what I'm just identifying is the simple fact of all that cross the street stuff does not prevent fighters from fighting each other. They just use that as excuses so they don't have to fight each other. That's what I'm saying. You saying, because it was a cherry. Of course it was a cherry, whatever. But nonetheless, there was still, one was Top Rank and the other was still PBC, but they still got it on for not just one, but three fights.
PBC was willing to risk Deontay Wilder because they thought they were going to win the gamble. So that's why they made that fight happen. Let's be honest. Whenever they do these cross promotion fights, they're taking risks. They know that they're taking gambles. And when you keep saying that Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman could have fought, you do realize PBC was in its infancy at the time. PBC had just started, bro. I remember, and they put one of their fights on after like track and field event or the Olympics or something like that. It got a lot of views. Danny Garcia versus Sean Porter was one of their first major fights on regular television. So you're talking about these dudes fighting at PBC in its infancy when they had no leverage. PBC wasn't even, and that's what I'm trying to explain to you. It's not like these dudes had the belt.
PBC had the stars. PBC were the
I'm saying
at the time. That the star promotion.
No, I'm talking about the fighters themselves. I'm saying Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, they didn't have the leverage to defy PBC at the time. Earl Spence did because he beat their entire roster. He beat all the fighters on their roster. He collected every single belt. So once he had that leverage over PBC, he could call his own shot because now he could do what he needed to do. So that's what I'm trying to explain to you. That's what made it different. That's why Earl Spence could defy PBC. But honestly, everyone else isn't in position. Look at how hard it was for Canelo to get the fight with Caleb Plant. Remember that? Remember, you're still talking about making across the streets fights happen, right? When Caleb Plant had his belt, they had to pay Caleb Plant $10 million. Remember that. Caleb Plant got paid $10 million to fight Canelo. They basically paid Caleb to sell his belt. Caleb wasn't making nowhere near that because Caleb was fighting Caleb Trulax. And he was fighting guys like that. Wasn't making millions. But PBC said, you want this belt? We'll sell it to you. And who paid for it? The Zone, like a fool. That's what Eddie even said.
You're just pulling out another point that is in my favor. These different promotional companies blocking fights, that's all a myth, bro. Yo, you can negotiate anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that Canelo Plant is another example where two promotional companies could work together to make a huge fight.
They work together. Well,
listen,
the Zone overpaid Caleb for a belt.
That's my price.
And that's what, if you remember, that was the main reason this fight couldn't get made. All the prognosticators, all the people who crunched the numbers said that their fight wouldn't make enough money to pay them the money they were asking for. Remember what they were asking for.
That's what they were saying with TC and Spence.
That's the fight I'm referring to. That's why no one ever picked it up. That's why Terrence Crawford had to come to PBC so that all the money can stay in-house, all the bread can stay in-house. All right, you know what? Ned is about to cook, man. We just going to have to, you know what? This has been going on a lot longer than anticipated. TV, man.
It's all good. I had the floor. I just want y'all to walk with me. I'm going to take a G moment right here.
Nah, don't mention my name if you're going
to. I'm going to walk with me. Yo, Thurman said Crawford TC ain't be the real champion. And I agree because I don't feel Earl Spence was in champion mode. And here's the theory I got. Like, I've been cooking on this. I've been sitting on this. Just popped in my head. Because when Spence walked out, he didn't look like himself. He didn't look like he lost his dog. He looked like something broke his heart. And I'm going to tell y'all this right now. It's just a theory. I'm speculating. I ain't saying it's fact. But y'all will understand. He probably got it. You know, he got a big fight coming up. He just signed a big fight with TC, and he think he the big dog. And he walking around Texas acting like, he's him, and he accidentally slipped up and broke and infidelity happened with his love of his life. So before the fight, he's texting this girl like, babe, I'm sorry. I know I slipped up, but I wish you was here for my fight. G, watch your mouth. Fix your face. I flipped up. I want you here for my fight. Da, 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 da. Like, I'm sorry. Like, this is gonna be a big night for us. And she just texts back K. And we all know Earl Spence is a talented fighter. We done seen him walk through Garcia, freaking Porter, freaking so many fighters. And then Ugas, all of them. And then when it come to this night, he looked like he can't box. He looked like he couldn't box. So that's my theory. It was a relationship issue that affected him in this fight because there's nothing else that can explain it because it looked like he just walked in with no soul. It looked like he walked in there with no soul. Because am I wrong? Like, tell me that makes sense. Go ahead.
I would walk with you. I would walk with you, bro. But he was in the dressing room after the fight with his lady and his son talk about they gonna get back. She brought the kids to the fight, bro. But
I got you got it. Because I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
I'm walking with you. That whole long text, and then she replies back with K. Had me on the floor, bro.
I'm gonna be real with you. I can't see any excuse. Like,
nah, he was with his wife. I'm talking about he was with his wife, but he's texting his love of his life. Like, why ain't I fight? You know, that's why. Why didn't you bring me media day? Why ain't I on? But that it's neither here nor there. You feel me? But on to the next thing. I also agree with Thurman on a couple points. Like, he was calling out TC, and at the time, TC was not fighting. That TC had a lot of after the Porter fight. TC had a lot of opportunities to fight a lot of good fighters, and he botched a lot of these deals. And before, like, hindsight's 2020. Yes, TC and Spence happened, but before TC and Spence happened, it blindsided all of us because there was like, yo, this fight's never gonna happen. I'm never gonna fight. They were saying, I'm never gonna fight Spence, or there was a lot of going on. TC. Don't forget, TC botched the deal with Pacquiao. He let Ugas get the belt from Pacquiao. Let's not forget that he let Ugas beat Pacquiao for the belt. He let Thurman came back for Thurman was on the layoff, and I'm not a fan of Thurman. I think Thurman's a hater or whatever. He just likes to like pop in the media. I don't know if he's an analyst or a boxer because he be on TV too much, but he's never in the ring at all.
Yes, I was listening.
Thurman,
that's my sign. And they called me too.
After Porter, TC's fight, he fought, what was his name? Isakis, Cal Brooks, all of these. Let's be honest. Like, Thurman got a point. Thurman was calling him out. Thurman had the opportunity to fight him because the TC and Spence fight was not it died out. It was gonna be like the biggest bust of the year if this fight didn't happen. But all of a sudden, before when Thurman was calling out, TC was going to go fight on BLK Prime with the Never Last, and it was a flop. It was a flop. Like, let's be honest. It was a flop. And G, I know I get you, Danny, Thurman, even their starlight is fading because there's like, what have they're not really relevant.
Thank you, man. I appreciate your honesty, man. Thank you.
But the welterweight division is like the most talented division in boxing. Like, they have all these good fighters that are they're stable and strong. Like, and then you got people who are just on the come up. They're just moving up. They're ready to get into welterweight division. You got look at Teofimo's about to probably like 2 years from now. Teofimo's gonna be a welterweight. Maybe why am I losing his name?
Devin Haney.
Devin Haney, yeah. I just forgot his last name. I was about to say Devin Booker and look crazy, but Devin Haney, maybe Devin Haney, maybe Shakur, all of them, they all moving up and they just
stay. How you thinking about Jerome Boots Ennis, the guy who's there right now?
Jerome Boots Ennis is there. You got what's his name? Is Oscar Valdez is is it? No, it's Victor Ortiz. Victor Ortiz. Am I getting it? I don't know. I'm saying a bunch of names, but the welterweight division is like the shining star for boxing. Like, it's like
the shining star of boxing.
The shining stars like are in the welterweight division. Like, that's where we like these guys are the like they're the fighters in the sport. But to hear that Thurman was calling out TC and TC was not entertaining him, not paying him attention. And now Thurman's saying all this. It looks like hate because TC won. But Thurman, we don't care what you gotta say. When your time, if TC wants to fight you, can fight you. But honestly, I think TC is on his way to cash out. And if we get this Canelo fight, it's gonna be a big fight. It's gonna be a real big fight.
Thank you, Ned. But, I appreciate you.
Like I said, Spence, something happened to Spence that night. He got something. He got some news he didn't want to receive.
Ned, remember, land the plane, bro.
I'm landing. He got some news he didn't want to receive.
Keep flying, man.
like yo, you know when you get to that breakup, like, and you be like, damn, you walking in the rain with no umbrella, you crying in the shower, yeah, you know, it's like it's just a bunch of things, man. It's like you hear that song, you be like, that used to be us, things like that. It's like it just Spence was just like heartbroken that night, so I don't know what happened, yo, but that's what I speculating happened.
All right, well, thank you. Hey, man, this turned out to be a pretty unexpectedly interesting
hour, yo. I'm like, man,
I didn't expect this show. We have so many more topics too. Oh, man. All right, listen. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Remember, you can check out our podcast on all major streaming services. You can download it, listen to it at work. That's the beauty of it. And you don't have to worry about flipping through everything. And you know, G always makes sure that it's kid friendly, so you can listen to it in the car. I mean, you know, I don't know why you would want your kids listening to Ned in the car, but yeah, you want that happening. Anyways, thank you for rocking with us. It's the Boxing Bros.
I feel it in my soul. Can you feel me? My money right. Came so cold in my cell, all them lonely nights.